Good evening. It's currently saying 0 viewers, so we're up to 3. That's okay.
Hooray!
We're not just talking to ourselves.
Is that just us 3?
One fan for each of us. It's Backseat Drivers number 20, the Scott Pye edition. Just a quick somber note to start on. Big fan of the show, Graham Searle. Passed away recently. That's why, if any of you, he was a big part of the show, I suppose, at the start, and that's why he hasn't been around for the last couple of weeks. So just, thanks from wherever you are now for all your support. But it's a bit sad, but the show must go on.
Yes.
He would want me and Rob to run this show into the ground as quick as possible, which I will continue to do for at least 100 more episodes.
And I may have to disappear for a minute or so tonight. So yeah,
no one will notice.
No, that's it. Back
to these viewers we get each. Do we get to pick who we have, and what can we do with them?
Well, that's a scary thought.
I think when we have the quiz, Rob, we can each pick a player for the quiz.
Okay.
What is it? A phone a friend?
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend. Yeah.
Cool. I don't have friends, so that works out well.
You have your Thursday night internet friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you get online validation that people listen to you.
Do they really though?
I feel like they have to.
It's funny, we don't get much abuse from the comments section, so
it's because everything we say is correct and factual and very intelligent, Dave.
I can't be a real friend.
Everyone wants to hear at least 2 people that know what they're talking about, and then me. Just
who's the other 2?
Yeah.
The fact checkers on the on the chat. Certainly not you 2.
They're the ones who know all the facts.
Yes.
Also, I'd like to just mention that I'm the only one that wore a hat today. So
I've
did
got
your
one
hair,
here
Dave.
if I really need to. Yeah, I haven't been riding tonight, so my hair's looking good.
So Rob looks like he's a jazz singer on a boat cruise. I take that back. Rob now looks like a 14-year-old boy who's about to ask for some Mountain Dew and Doritos. Oh, Dave, someone's already asked you about your red back. You're gonna have to explain yourself because it's way too deep for everyone.
I thought this one was pretty obvious because of the French Grand Prix. They're baguettes.
Yeah.
Told you no one would get it.
No one. I got it, but even I thought that it was. Dave, we just know you can do better.
Okay, I'll try better next week.
What's next week? Hungary.
Yeah.
You could.
I'm basically always hungry. So more bread.
It's better than the Iowa one we had planned of the 2 cousins making out.
Well, I was going to do corn, but yeah.
The band?
No, the Iowa corn. What they make the E85 out of.
Oh, you keep confusing me.
These are so deep.
That's why I thought
way deep for us.
That's why I thought the baguette was going to be a lot easier to understand because French and baguettes.
You should have had a French man with a mustache riding a bicycle across the Eiffel Tower with a breadstick. Then we'd understand. Or Dave,
I'll try and be better next week.
Next time you can be real political and have a picture of a submarine because Australia and.
Let's not get into politics. Let's. Apparently, Vettel's announced his retirement.
Is this breaking news?
What? Yeah, it could be because I haven't heard anything about this. Can we fact checkers, Buffy?
Can we just Stroll break track checking him?
Where
does it mean they've signed someone else for next year, or they've asked him not to return? Because I thought they were relatively happy with him, although
I thought he was happy to stay.
yeah,
that's all signs were pointing towards that.
Wasn't he the one that jumped in the old F1 car and did like fun laps around took out a couple of company cars for some like chap laps or something? Yeah. He seemed to be enjoying himself.
Yeah, that's the thing. You won't get to do cool things like that. He got to drive his Williams around Silverstone.
He drove what's his face? Was it Nigel?
Nigel Mansell's Williams.
He was running it with biofuel.
Going by the website I found, he is retiring at the end of the 2021 season from Ferrari.
Oh, that's big news. We got all the breaking news here from Rob. Next up, Mark Webber retires from F1.
Didn't he leave Ferrari at the end of 2020 though?
So not only is your news out of date, it's also wrong.
It's wrong.
Yes.
Didn't even need a fact checker to fact check that. I checked that with my Google brain. I'm still on like version 1.
Can we have a scoreboard next to our names? Every time you get something wrong, you get a minus score. Rob can be on -2.
The only thing I know how to do is give him a 15-second penalty like this.
So Rob's in
Do we have a countdown while he's in the sin bin or something?
While he can think about what he's done. We'll let him back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if
Austin Martin Twitter. Okay. So maybe
I haven't got Twitter, so I can't check this.
One of our fact checkers will have Twitter.
Well, then who would they look to replace him with?
Who have they got waiting in the wings?
King Latifi.
Oh,
possibly.
I've actually got a question about King Latifi. If we're though it's the race related. Now, Rob, just
how many days he will still be a Formula One driver?
Well, there's that question too. But Rob, remember your your theories that Latifi has never come last.
Yeah.
Now, how does that work if he has to retire? If he retires, he retired like second or third, he still technically didn't come last, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So he's 17th in the standings.
So he's still never come last because someone's always retired before him.
Yes.
And he just drives his little Canadian mobile safely safely to last. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. No. I'm just keeping it.
It's the Max Chilton theory. You have the most finishes in a row, but you drive so slow that you cannot break the car.
Yeah.
So he's Mr. Reliable, is what you're saying. Or he's just confirmed that.
Confirmed. I assume that's the Vettel retirement.
No, I think he's confirmed that Latifi is the most reliable driver in all of.
So then, who do you look to replace him with?
Well, they've got half the year now to decide, don't they?
Yeah.
Do they have
they
don't have a team? No.
You'd imagine as Mercedes junior, but I don't know if Mercedes has really got any juniors now that they kind of burnt them all.
Does Lewis Hamilton have any kids?
Hulkenberg?
Well,
he
is an option. Lewis has, I think, only one puppy dog now. So I think that's.
What if what's her name took a F1 spot?
Who?
His best mate on the scooter, Andrea.
Angela.
Angela. She could sit next to the in the other car and just help him drive around.
Good point. Or she could carry his bag and stuff in case he breaks down
in the other car. In case he breaks down.
Quick reply.
Or he could carry she could carry the rule book for Mr. Russell to quote during races.
Do we want to start off with that?
Look, Look, there's a lot to unpack. Just like a baguette wrapped in a fine cotton sheet, there was a lot going on in France, Dave. I would like to start with letting everyone know that I'm officially applying for Ferrari's pit stop strategy manager, because I feel like I can get that job. That is an easy job to get right now. There's no challenge being, and there's no expectation of being the pit boss at Ferrari.
You kind of can't do any worse.
You can't do any wrong. Like literally, if you were trying to overtake someone, I can interrupt you during a pivotal moment and say box. I feel like I can say anything.
They came out and defended it, though, as well.
Oh, did they?
Saying that was the right strategy call to make.
While he was in the middle of something quite, what would you call it, high level of concentration, you've decided to.
The radio messages are delayed, but from the outside, I haven't got all the information, which apparently they have. But just watching it, from
TV,
my seat here in Melbourne, you look at it and you're like, right, we either need to pit him or we don't. We need to commit to this. He's about to catch Russell, and then all of a sudden, if he doesn't get past him straight away, you go, right, we'll pit him in and then go for it, kind of thing. They dither about it for a couple of laps, then he finally gets past him, and then they call him in.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I don't understand. There seems to be just bring your kid to work day and let the kid decide what's going on, or just,
The thing is that sometimes these things, like, you can have a set plan before the race and go, right, this is, but if A or B or whatever happens, we do C and D kind of thing. But they seem to we've got to think about this for 15 laps before we actually make a decision. It's too late.
How long do tyres last for?
Depends on which ones.
It depends on if it's Hamilton or not.
But that was the other thing as well. There was only 10 laps to go, and really they put the mediums back on, didn't they? How long would the softs have last when it was that late? Wouldn't you have been better on really just having a massive crack at it? And chucking softs on and just going for broke?
Gasly pretty much pitted around the same time and got to the end on mediums.
But Gasly seems to be quite different at tyres, doesn't he? Wasn't he the one that...
different car, I guess.
He can make tyres
different car. And he was running... Let's look at the results. Where was Gasly? 12th.
Yep.
So... He was kind of not really anywhere in the end, whereas Carlos has driven through the field, so he probably would have taken a lot of life out of the tyres.
Yeah.
But, there's supposed to be professionals, and realistically, you can pick holes in it while it's happening. It's not even like, I've got hindsight. 3 days later, I've watched it 4 times, and now,
how delayed was the radio from? Because
it does vary. It's not because they don't play the swearing ones and things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like this happened and then a minute later they've called it. They still would have been in a small window of stuff happening, and they've just gone, what's going on? And they it's not like they can't see what's going on, and they're just guessing. Oh, I wonder where he is. I don't know. I'll just ask him. Hey, we're doing a lunch order. What do you want? Sorry, I'm kind of busy right now. I'm currently driving. Can you order for me later?
This is a time sensitive thing. It's
the
not
Domino's pizza guy is going to leave in 5 minutes. I need your order now.
We're ordering lunch right now.
Yeah,
make a
Charles,
decision.
But didn't he
want us to order for you?
He pretty much ended up where he would have finished anyway. He probably wouldn't have ended up any further up. And he had to take the 5-second penalty, so he end up around the same place, but got a
technically he would have been.
But he just got past Russell. Hamilton was.
Did he get past Russell? Did he get past Russell?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then Russell had the little quote.
But he wasn't getting away quick enough to make up 5 seconds to make it worth.
Yeah, but even then, you still would have potentially, like they've essentially taken away a potential podium for a fifth.
Yeah.
Like he's not going for the championship. He doesn't need points. They've fucked up the constructors as well, haven't they?
Oh, there's a fair gap. There we go, constructors. There's a good 80 points.
It seemed like it was not long ago that Max was saying that he wasn't really competing for the championship this year because he was going so bad to start with. And
well, that was the thing in Melbourne. Like Red Bull started off with 2 engine failures, wasn't it? In the first 2 rounds, and Ferrari dominated.
Yeah,
and they were the fastest car. So it looked like they're walking away with this. Now, Max has got 63-point lead.
Yeah.
Yep. 233, 170.
That's over 2 races now that he can go and sit at home and not do anything. And essentially, Charles is never going to catch that up because in at least one of those, either he'll crash or Ferrari will fuck up the strategy.
Yeah.
So, he's got like a 4-race lead.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is he can have a rest, a bye for one of these races if he's feeling a bit tired.
Yeah.
So his best place, he should have just done it was at home, because he's not, just have a nap, watch the flares fly in the background, just
go and sit with the crowd.
Yeah. Are there any other F1 events where they have the flares go off so prominently? I mean, that was
maybe Zandvoort. They may.
Oh, Zandvoort will be out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Monza, usually you see flares go off as well. But a lot of other tracks would check bags and stuff beforehand.
Yeah.
Did they check bags at old, or do they do it at like some events that I've been to?
We got checks going into Albert Park this year. Although I'm smart, so I didn't bring a bag, but someone coming in with me brought a bag, so I still got held up. Not bitter about it or anything.
No, I've learned don't bring a bag to anything. Didn't bring a bag to the MCG. Didn't bring a bag to stadiums.
I don't even take bags on planes.
That's just suspicious, Rob. That's anyone that doesn't go on a plane with any checked on luggage is just weird.
I just wear everything.
Are you one of those guys that just wears like a big suit and it's just got everything in the suit?
Yeah.
And then when it goes through the metal detector, it just has a suit with like a laptop in the jacket pocket or something.
I just have multiple layers on as well, so take all the clothes I need on me.
Smart.
Oh, is that
waiting for baggage?
Yeah, because you fly Tiger and Jetstar or something, and you don't trust anyone to bring your luggage back.
No, I don't trust anyone anymore.
No,
I'm not looking forward to my next flight on Qantas.
we flew Qantas and got bumped to business and then cancelled, and then a friend went on Jetstar and their flight got cancelled. No, moved 4 times in the space of a day.
Qantas are the Ferrari of airlines.
Yeah. They ask you stupid questions, and then you think you're doing well, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, taking that off you.
Sake.
So are we going into predictions for Hungary?
Yeah.
Hungary. Latifi number 1.
Red Bull 1-2.
Nah.
Look, I think Rob's playing it safe with Latifi, little PlayStation kid, and who's your other random Kevin?
Kevin?
K-Mag.
K-Mag Magnussen.
They're bringing upgrades to Hungary, aren't they?
What, for Kevin?
Yeah.
Well, for both cars, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So they'll probably go backwards.
Yeah. Well, Schumacher will probably crash on the way to the track.
Yep. he might take out someone.
No.
My predictions for the weekend is Red Bull 1-2 and probably Sainz in third.
Oh, I'm gonna say Russell is now is my new podium boy. I think I want him to do better than Mr. Blessed. Just to rub it in, just to let everyone know that he's the future of Mercedes. It's what people want to see.
There's one more round before the summer break, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it Zandvoort?
What have we got?
What's
Hungary,
Hamburg?
Belgium, and then.
Is Belgium before the summer break this year?
Yeah, it would appear so.
No, 28th of August is Belgium. So this is the last one.
There we go. Quiz time.
Quiz next week then. Let me just check. Oh yeah, here's my big book.
We'll do a review.
My big book of quiz questions. There we go.
It is the last one before the. So yeah, it would be good for Russell to
win.
Beat Lewis this weekend. Just that psychological thing over the summer break.
Yeah.
So that
the summer break is after Hungary. Here we go. The podium: 1 Max, 2 Lewis, 3 Ferrari. Oh,
which Ferrari though?
Which one? I'm going to answer this for whichever one finishes. Only one can finish, Dave.
Which one doesn't get mauled?
Two will enter, one will leave, and one of them will end up on the podium. One of them will leave in the little what's the little shame truck that they have to drive when the car crashes?
Scooteria Ferrari.
The little Vettel scooter or something else, and the other one will race around and finish. Or they'll just do who was it in Monaco that just literally got the car, drove it straight into the garage, and just went home straight away.
It was what's his name? Who just retired last year? Who cracked it, walked off, and jumped on his boat. Party.
No, I'm saying this year. One of the Ferraris. Didn't one of the Ferraris just drive into the Monaco car park, the garage, and just before I think the first lap or something?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
I can't remember that. Yeah.
Oh, no.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Can someone fact check Matt
might just be talking.
Matt's fantastical stories.
Yeah. I struggle to remember the last race. That was like 4 days ago.
Yeah. It was as soon as Leclerc crashed, though. You pretty much I got up on Monday morning. I watched the first kind of 10 laps, I think it was, of the Grand Prix. Yeah. Then I watched the IndyCar race. Then I went back to the Grand Prix, and then Charles crashed, and I went, well, I'm going to make it to work on time because there was no point watching because it's like, well, unless something happens to Max, essentially, he's got this in the bag.
Well, yeah, I started watching it. I thought, oh, this race is going to be boring as hell before the crash.
It wasn't, there's a little bit of to and fro about to happen. You weren't quite sure, and then Charles started pulling away and that. And you're like, Max pitted early, and you're like, well, okay, are they going to be able to catch with the 2-stop and things like that? And then, Charles crashing, like, well, that's done.
Yeah.
So essentially the only interesting thing was how far was Carlos going to get up?
True.
There we go. See, 2020, 2021, and 2022 are all the same year to me. So that was
just
this year
different seasons of the same shitty show.
No. It was all Drive to Survive season 1 to 7. all the same. One of them retired. One of them crashed an old Ferrari into a wall and had brake issues. That all happened at the same time. The same place, all the same person. I think it was Latifi who did it all. He does everything. Does Latifi get to drive
nothing?
Does Latifi get to drive any of the Mercedes cars? Or they don't trust him?
No, because he's a Williams driver.
Well, Williams, Mercedes, don't they? Isn't he like the work experience kid? Can't he just swing past?
Daddy, can you buy me a Mercedes?
Because I noticed they only let the big names drive the old cars.
I think it depends on who's kind of organising it and things like that. So, and probably who has the ability.
Yeah.
Because without
Latifi does not have the ability to drive an old vintage F1 car.
I mean, to be honest though, even if you got into a car of that vintage, like to think with because I'm not sure because the clutch and that works a bit differently with the gearing or something because you got to like double clutch them or whatever, which I'm not sure how to do that. Plus the brakes were that hand lever on the side. Well, that would be
the Tokyo Drift.
That would be fairly awkward to just say to drive it out on the street without fucking it up. Whereas like that would be a priceless kind of car.
Oh yeah,
go out and drive that. Like you could imagine that. Now, not singling anyone out, Lance Stroll, but I would imagine that would be something that he would struggle at straight away. Whereas someone like Vettel seems to have.
Yeah. I mean, like, you give crap to Hamilton, but he can. It clearly shows that he can drive most of these like wacky old cars and stuff. I think
but you've also like the top drivers can do things like think about the strategy in that while they're racing. Whereas I imagine that the guys in Formula One now are all very good, blah blah blah. But you probably like your Strolls and Latifis and that probably don't have that extra capacity to try and worry about the strategy in that.
I just worked out how Latifi could do a whole lap without crashing. Put him next to someone else, and that way he has to win because Rob's theory that he'll never come last and he won't retire. He'll do a complete lap perfectly.
I'm pretty sure Latifi's last crash is when Stroll drove into him.
It wasn't even his fault.
Oh. It was Stroll crashing into him.
The key thing with crashes, though, you have to have speed to actually have a crash. Yes. Like no one ever had a crash not moving. So at Latifi's speed, he can't have a crash.
Do you reckon Latifi may end up on Sky Sports as a commentator in a few years?
No.
Why? They've got enough backmarkers already on there.
That's the key. They've got enough.
Oh, they're not going to hang
Why
around.
Why do we have to listen to Paul DiResta? Am I the only one? Paul DiResta.
Yeah.
Like the other ones, generally I don't mind. But I'm not sure what it is with Paul. He just rubs me up the wrong way.
Yeah.
So Dave? Who's the next of the current F1 drivers? Who's the next one to become a commentator?
That's a bloody good question.
Yeah, I occasionally have them, Dave. I think it's the drinking the cans.
Anyone who's watching got any suggestions?
Yeah, I really like that question. Because I mean, you'd love to see someone like Dan doing it, but
Dan would be hilarious doing it.
He's a loose cannon, so they're not going to let him on Sky Sports.
Yeah, but Dan would be the kind of person that could walk around the pits and just be allowed in once he's not.
Matt would really like Carlos Sainz.
Oh,
doing his very.
I'd like him or Kimmy. Yeah, Kimmy would be hilarious.
The problem is though they have to be able to talk.
Yeah,
that's the
man. A few words.
I reckon Lando.
Yeah, Lando would be cool. Actually, George Russell.
Yeah,
but he's got a long way before he goes.
I know, but he's very well spoken and whatever. He could really do that kind of.
Mick Schumacher could in the future.
Well, he's not racing, so.
The only thing is, say if we're looking at like Sky Sports, the British one, for us, they're not going to accept a German.
No,
that's true. They'll take George. I reckon you're right. I reckon George will be.
Yuki. Yeah. I want Yuki up there. He'd be great.
Yuki's too busy reviewing Gran Turismo and
this is doing. That's exactly what.
100% correct.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting more and more cynical as I get older, but it seems to be getting more and more biased.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, remember I told you even the Foxtel ads for the F1, it essentially was like oh, Silverstone's up this year. Which British driver is going to win it? Because fuck the rest, obviously.
Well, that's what I was very... Yeah. The way they hyped it up.
No chance. Yeah. No chance of anyone else winning because Hamilton or George will win it.
Would they take people from the colonies? Like Lance and Latifi and...
Well, Webber was on 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
So he wasn't on the Sky Sports, really, was he? But he was on...
like one of the penal colony channels. Yeah. So he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, they got what's his name? I can't remember his name now. One of the commentators from the colonies. Well,
there's a lot of colonies.
There's also it's not Cartha Kane, the other Indian fella.
Yeah. Total blank.
Yeah, it's total. I don't know why I remember Cartha Kane and not because he's very good.
Wasn't in the car.
No,
maybe that's what makes you a good commentator.
His knowledge in that though as well. He's extremely good with all the historical stuff.
Karun Chandok.
That's it. Yeah. He's very.
Is he one of the ones that does the walking around beforehand?
Well, a little bit.
A little bit of.
He does more the pit reporting and so, yeah.
So it's either British people or places that British have
colonies.
So most of the world, essentially.
Yeah.
They've lost a lot of it though.
Yeah, but like you could still reclaim it. So pretty much anyone that can compete in the Commonwealth Games, Rob.
Yeah.
So does that mean like Lance and King Latifi are potentials?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's Canada, and Canada can compete in the Commonwealth Games.
So we're pretty much we got Lewis, George.
Yeah, they'll be in the main.
Lando,
they'll be in the main
Dan, Stroll.
Yeah.
And King Latifi, and maybe Alex Albon.
They do have Nico Rosberg on there.
Yeah, he does the kind of like the Zoom kind of. You've got COVID, so you're not allowed to come into the studio.
I think they stopped paying for him to come.
Yeah, the cut price. Yeah. I don't really think he adds anything.
No, he just talks about Lewis.
Yeah, when I was teammates, like anything that Lewis does is fucking amazing. And then, by the way, I beat him to the championship.
Yeah. I was going to say, what's the also was it those two that had a falling out as well?
Yeah, because they were best friends when they were kids.
Yeah, and then
until shit got real.
Yeah,
until Lewis got beaten and then he got angry. Is that why?
Yeah, I think they're best friends again now.
Are they?
Well, sort of. No,
I thought they were.
I don't think Lewis has any friends, does he?
Him and Toto are best friends, and they just
and Angela.
And they talk about how much everyone sucks except them.
Yeah,
and how everyone cheats, and how boring F1 has become now because it's just
was that this week that he came out and said that? No,
that was last week.
Oh, God.
But time means nothing. It's still funny now, Dave. It's
how are you so far up yourself?
I think the problem
you don't realize the words that are coming out of your mouth are just absolute garbage.
But do you think Mr. Ginger Spice would have said the same if he'd won 8 constructors championship?
No, because they wouldn't have done they don't Red Bull don't come out and say like, oh, we don't have the fastest car, blah, 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 kind of thing. Like at the start of the year, I genuinely believed that Mercedes were just going to come out and dominate the first round because of the bullshit they sprout every year.
Yeah.
So, Red Bull wouldn't have that same kind of. Yeah. I mean, they did piss and moaned to Renault all the way through 2014 when they couldn't win. Well, they only won 3 races. But that was because Renault had done a shit job.
Yeah.
So I can't recall. I don't think they were trying to change the rules because they had a shit engine. They were trying to get Renault to build.
Red Bull going to get the I think I saw a comment before that Porsche is buying in on.
Yeah, I only saw the headline of this. I didn't have a chance to read up anything on it beforehand.
And it's not official yet, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're trying to buy. The plan is for them to buy 50% of Red Bull to, because they want a bit more than just be a supplier. They want to be a team.
Why don't they fucking buy Toro Rosso and rename that Porsche and then have supply like the engines to both teams?
Supposedly Audi's trying to do the same with Sauber. So they can have a works team.
Yeah. That makes more sense, though, because from what I understand, Audi actually is going to build their own engines than that. So that makes sense. Whereas the Porsche thing will be a bit more of a branding, which also doesn't make any fucking sense, because if Audi's building an engine, why don't just brand the second team using it as a Porsche engine? Anyway.
I still don't know why they're not using the Lamborghini brand up against Ferrari.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think they'd have Italian versus Italian?
Well, the thing is, what I don't get, like with the Sauber being Alfa Romeo or whatever, why don't they brand the engine as a fucking Alfa Romeo? Like the whole thing is Alfa Romeo, whereas it's Alfa Romeo Ferrari kind of crap. Yeah. Like Volkswagen wants to come in, 3 teams or whatever, and brand them as 3 different engines.
Maybe Audi, the Volkswagen Audi group, can just buy all the teams and have all their different brands up there. Skoda or Cooper.
If there's a Skoda team, I'm following that straight away. That's my new Jet Force India. If there's a Skoda team,
it's a station wagon.
Robert, let me explain it to you. It goes Skoda, Kia, and what's my third team if they made one? It'd have to be something. Hyundai. I'd like a Hyundai F1, and you could call it the F1 Excel because it excels at racing. Yep, that would be fantastic. Can we have some wacky teams like that, Dave? Are there any chances of like
I think it should be. I think every manufacturer should have a team on there.
I think every manufacturer should be invited to come along, and you get 2 drivers, and you get you supply everything. The rule is you got to build an engine of a V10 engine of whatever displacement, like we'll say a maximum size, but you have to provide everything except for tires. Yeah. You've got to provide all the engine work. Yeah, and away you go. Yep. Chevy F1.
Chevy F1. Nice. Ford in their F-150 truck.
And Dave, and you have a retro rounder for the Chevy F1 VL Turbo. What's it called?
Doesn't really fit the Chevy thing, unfortunately, though, with a Holden car with a Nissan engine.
It's actually a Commodore
at the back of the F1, you have those Venetian blinds, Dave, just to really sell the sell.
It's a VN V6 Commodore with a Chevy badge on it.
Oh no, Ron is 100% correct. The Hyundai is a magnificent vehicle.
I'd have to admit, I know a couple of people with them, and they have come on leaps and bounds. Yeah.
Have you seen the new Hyundai DeLorean that they've?
Yeah, that thing is pretty cool.
That looks pretty cool.
DeLorean designs from Hyundai.
They were sort of copied each other.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the car was designed for Hyundai, but they couldn't use it for some reason, so it got sold off to DeLorean.
Perfect. Yeah. That could be the new safety car, actually. Yeah. The Hyundai safety car, because it is the safest car.
Is it?
It's pretty. I mean, it doesn't go very fast, so it's pretty safe. Now, Dave, just looking at the timer, we're hitting the 40-minute mark. I think everybody has been waiting for this.
Well, there's still a lot of stuff we haven't actually really covered.
No,
we haven't even talked about IndyCar.
Yeah, let's go talk about IndyCar.
We can talk about IndyCar.
This is where Matt goes quiet for.
Yeah.
Matt's still got plenty to say about IndyCar.
This is where Matt should go get us some oranges.
Yeah, the halftime show.
Matt's on drink break.
The big thing, though, I want to obviously the Palou saga is still going on with Ganassi is now going to sue him. So essentially that he won't be with Ganassi next year, but it's even more now leaning towards he might not even be driving next year.
Yeah.
Possibly might, unless McLaren are going to, stump up and really pay money out. So, and then who ends up replacing him? Yeah. I tell you what, if I was Colton Herter, I'd be looking for every fucking loophole in my contract and just saying, chip, I'll drive for free. Because, Anyway, Newgarden crash.
Yeah.
And then what happened afterwards?
Passed out? From what I heard, because supposedly he did. They did because they're pretty thorough with their testing and everything afterwards.
Yep.
So they haven't actually released what happened exactly, but supposedly because the hospital was so far away, that's why they had to helicopter him there because the traffic was not too bad. Otherwise, they would have just driven. But I'm kind of curious to see what comes of that, and I kind of curious to see if he's not going to be at the next race because I'd like to see
Santucci,
Ferrucci.
Yeah,
he's got great hair.
Yeah, and I think what he did at Silverstone in F2, whenever that was, 2018 or whatever, some of the shit we did as like an 18-year-old, I mean, it's typical 18-year-old being a dickhead kind of thing.
Yeah.
He seems to have actually matured somewhat. He's not as much of a dickhead and whatever. And, I mean, the kid can drive. So it would actually be good to see him in a top-line car, what he can do. Because, I mean, really, he's like in the Rahal car, I think he was the leading one when he filled in at Texas this year.
Yeah.
And he filled in for Ilott in Detroit as well after his crash at Indy. And did quite well in the Junkos car. He deserves to have a proper run with a proper car, I think.
Well, that was the other thing I heard was Ilott. I think Chip's wanting Ilott to go over, but I think he's got an extension on his contract for another 12 months.
Yeah, I think that was a 1 year with option.
Yeah.
Which, obviously on the team side. But that's the interesting thing because essentially it is the best seat or one of the best seats in IndyCar is available now. And you haven't got once again, there's not a top line driver that's, available to slot in.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they could get someone from F2.
Well, that's possibly what it's looking like again, which they were successful doing that once in the past. And then every other time they've tried it, it was a fucking disaster.
Yeah. True.
Benassi and Junqueira, there's someone else as well, I think, that they tried from it. Anyway. Yeah. No, I don't think he will. And I don't think Herter's going to get out of his Andretti contract to go across to Ganassi. But if I was Herter at the moment, I would be trying fucking everything to get out of there because something's going on at Andretti.
Chip wouldn't have him anyway with the connection he has with McLaren at the moment.
Well, probably not. With everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So
he probably wouldn't want to. Oh, but then again, he might do it out of spite since McLaren's trying to get. Well, they try to get Dixon.
Yeah. But that's another strange one, though, when you look at, kind of with Dixon, why would you, I know the Palou thing, why would you, other than obviously the money thing, but realistically, the money will come with the next contract.
Yeah.
So,
true.
Yeah.
It's a strange situation.
And Ron, I was just, essentially, I was saying if I was Hurt, I'd be doing everything in my power to try and get out of the Andretti contract to get the Ganassi seat, because the Ganassi seat's obviously a lot better than the Andretti one. So, because Grosjean was the most competitive over the weekend on an oval.
Yeah.
The Andretti car were junk.
Yeah.
Was it an oval this week, Dave?
Yeah.
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 There was 2 races over the weekend, yeah.
The old NASCAR French for left turn.
Yeah.
And my predictions actually went pretty well.
Yeah. Penske.
Who did you predict for last?
Well, I said Penske 1, 2, 3, but what did we get? 1, 3, and 2, 3.
Yeah.
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 So fucking
and Pato up there.
Pato.
Which is good to see.
Yeah.
I like Pato.
Yeah.
So I think Pato would be a great teammate for Lando. They have similar personalities.
Pato,
like
I thought you said Lance.
Lance.
I was going to say wait a second. Lance Stroll doesn't really have a personality.
No.
Yeah, does he actually say or do anything? He just seems like he turns up like a Lego man, slots him into the car
with his Lego haircut.
He's got the Lego hair. He's got the essentially it's like, father, slot me in the brown-haired one onto my yellow peg on top of my head. And today I'd like a cowboy hat because we're racing in Austin and I want to look cool like Dan.
Yeah.
It took Ericsson a few years, but Ericsson has won a few races. But that shows you, though, like with F1, that it seems like, Lewis is a god because he wins everything, and, Latifi's junk because he finishes.
Yeah. Whoa.
He never finishes last. So,
Sorry.
Yeah. But realistically, if Latifi went to IndyCar, he would probably be might be a reasonable runner in there. But you don't get a chance to show in Formula One unless you are with the top team.
Yeah. Well, Mazepin never got his chance to shine either.
Poor Nicky.
Held back. Held back in his prime.
I like when he was in because the heat was off Nicky.
If he gets his...
is there a chance that old Mazepin can come back? Or
I think Formula One's gone, but if he can get some rubles, he might be able to get into IndyCar.
A lot of rubles.
Yeah.
I don't think take him at the moment.
No, well, who was that other Russian that raced for Schmidt Peterson for quite a few years?
I think just right now, anyone that's Russian doesn't really have a chance.
Because when Hinch was there, before they signed Wickens, they had they had 2 Arrow cars or whatever, where the second one was funded by Russia money. But they never actually put the sponsorship on there.
I can't highlight that message. Can you highlight that last message? Yeah.
That one.
Yep, that's the one. I find IndyCar just way more entertaining to watch at the moment.
That was as I said on Monday morning. I watched the first 10 laps of the F1 race as a replay kind of thing, and paused it so I could watch the start of the IndyCar race and watch that live, and then went back to the Formula One.
Yeah,
and that was, and I found myself Sunday morning. Last weekend was a little bit different, but I watched the IndyCar race in preference watching F1 qualifying. First up, and I will if it's this weekend. This weekend once again is different because it's a Saturday race at Indy. But I would watch the IndyCar qualifying before the F1 qualifying.
Yeah, they're same. Yeah, but like watching Toronto on the street, it was just there was something happening constantly. In car, the drivers were just fighting the car the whole time because the road's so bumpy but there was just action non-stop. And the
F1
cars were
have a road like that, though, would it?
No.
It would have to be very pristine.
They want to change the rules because they designed the car badly and it bounces.
Yeah.
IndyCar races over train tracks.
Dave, it doesn't bounce. It vertical. What was it? It vertically oscillates.
Yeah. It's not porpoising anymore. It's bouncing.
No.
Totally different.
We've moved away from Echo the Dolphin, and we're going to Rocket Man as we send Team Rocket blasting off into space. Yeah,
who do you reckon is going to win the championship for IndyCar this year?
Will.
That's what
yeah.
Also, because Will has the best name. Second only to Max Power. The name you want to touch.
Just on a quick side note, I actually watched a Damien Power comedy show the other night. And he's not the best comedian I ever watched, but he is actually quite funny.
Yeah.
I enjoyed 75% of it was actually very good.
Yeah.
So that's for those who don't know, it's Will Power's brother, and he does give Will a bit of shit on this one, he did give him a bit of shit. But it was kind of funny watching because they do look very similar.
Yeah.
So Will's 8 points behind Ericsson.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably between those two now.
Yeah, I think so. Will's been pretty consistent. Marcus did have the double points at Indianapolis, which kind of helps.
Oh, that helps massively. He has been very good though, because even on the weekend, which I was a little bit surprised Ganassi didn't play a bit more strategy with the cars.
Yeah.
Because you had Johnson and Ericsson fighting towards the end of the race, which, it's a little bit different in IndyCar because you've got the differing sponsors and things like that. Yeah. And they very set up like separate teams within a team, but still.
I really didn't like that Jimmy Johnson changed his livery between the two races. I was sitting there trying to look for the color on the
Carvana car, and all of a sudden it's the American Legion.
Yeah, I'm like, where the hell is he?
It was funny though; they were the only ones to do that this year. Whereas last year, I think the Ray Halls did it. Rossi's car, I think, swapped liveries.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
that's just.
Or it might not have been. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there was because Iowa missed out last year, I think.
Yeah.
Whenever they did the doubleheader last time.
Yeah.
As Matt said, it's like it's all the same year, just muddled up together.
It's all the same. It hasn't changed yet. So
there was the before time, and then there's now.
There's now.
Jimmy Johnson did lead for 19 laps.
That would have been off strategy, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'd actually fallen asleep on the couch and I'd woken back up, and he was in the lead. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Am I dreaming?
I've woken up in an alternate world.
Is that like that time you fell asleep in the F1 and Latifi was in the front, and then you realized you were just playing F1 2022 on your PlayStation? And you're like, I need to go back to bed.
Wet patch in your pants. Oh, it was just a wet dream.
That happens more than once, Dave. I think that happens a weekly thing. He puts F1 2022 on easy, and then Latifi just starts from pole every race. I think Andretti should be in F1. I think it sounds. I don't understand why they wouldn't want an American in the F1 if they're trying to obviously hit the F1 market.
Yeah. And I think the idea is that they probably want, say, Audi to come in and start their own team. But you can have 12 if you could somehow convince Audi to come in and start their own team plus have Andretti in, then you've got, your full quota. You've got your 12 franchises that you want to have. And then you start getting that trading. If someone wants an F1 team, there's none of this bullshit about coming in or whatever. The 12 are there, you have to buy one out. There isn't, Whereas at the moment, there is that kind of question mark. Do you go, like, say, Audi wanting to come in, do you go and buy an existing team out, or do you start up your own? kind of thing.
Which team would you buy out currently?
Sauber's probably the most obvious.
Yeah.
If Mr. Tetra Pak wants to give up his shares, which from what I've heard, he's interested in the Audi thing.
Yeah.
But
I think he still wants some
shares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see some different teams, and it still looks weird when at the start grid when they take off. There just seems to be not enough cars there.
Well, that's another. It's funny, like watching the IndyCar now, and you've got that kind of 20. We're back to 26 now, I think.
Yeah.
But it's surprising how many more those 6 cars look like on the grid taking off. Yeah,
a lot busier.
Yeah.
It just gives it that little bit of an extra level.
Would Andretti be? I'm just thinking more of the team principal. Is he more of a Toto or is he more of a Mr. Ginger Spice? Where does he fall in the like? For my amusement, is he going to be another Toto who whinges about everything, or is he going to be like a Mr. Ginger Spice who whinges at everything, but we all know he's cooler than Toto?
Apparently, after Mid-Ohio, when the Andretti cars all hit each other during the race, apparently he was very Toto.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Two Totos.
Apparently, yeah. But I think he's probably normally a bit more like Ginger Spice.
I would like to see. I would like in his first race, his 2 drivers take each other out, and him knowing that it's his first race has to keep it cool. And really has to keep a lid on it because he knows that he's going to be judged. His character's going to be judged on how he reacts.
I think the debrief after the Mid-Ohio round was,
Heated?
you didn't want to be around for that apparently.
So, Dave, I know you're not aware of this, but there are other sports. In the AFL, they had a debrief when one of the teams played. Woovie might know about this. A Melbourne team went to a restaurant and they got into a massive punch-on.
I heard something about this.
Yep. Yeah.
Hey, just a general question here. Someone was talking about Brayshaw signing for Melbourne today, and I was thinking because at first I thought North Melbourne because of James Brayshaw.
No.
Is this any relation to James Brayshaw though? Someone that I actually know.
I think they're cousins or something. There's like all.
So there is bloodlines.
I believe there's some sort of weird, like there seems to be a lot of big families now in the AFL.
Well, don't you get like the Schumacher rule where because your dad was 7-time world champion, you magically get into Formula One?
I believe it's called the father-son rule. Yeah, so basically in the AFL, there's like essentially the Rioli family, which is essentially football royalty. If you have a Rioli on your team, you're pretty much set. In the F1, I don't know who you...
If you have a Schumacher on your team, you're
50-50. Yeah. Yeah, basically having a Rioli in an AFL team is a very good thing. Okay. Having a Schumacher seems to be a 50-50 at this point.
Well, if you take Ralph into account, it's probably a 33-66.
I forgot there was Ralph.
Ralph is very forgettable, though.
Ralph. Every Ralph I know is forgettable.
Exactly, Andrew. So, back on topic. Sorry, I was the one who got that off topic because I didn't want to sound like an idiot at lunch asking stupid football questions.
Welcome to my life.
I was just about to say, is that James Brayshaw you're talking about? I thought, wait a second. These people actually talk seriously about football, so they're not going to appreciate my stupidness. Yes, Uvi, they all have one chassis from Dallara. So, and then there's 2 different engines to choose from, hopefully 3 very soon.
Yeah, Ron, I wasn't saying that I didn't think he was a good driver. I just forgot that Ralph existed. Yeah. I completely forgot. It's like when you watch those videos of like people that used to drive in F1 and they would have said Ralph Schumacher and you're like, that's right.
Yeah.
He was there.
Yeah.
Not like, like Barrichello, which you remember because he was, Mick's bitch who essentially had to do what he was told.
Ralph's career was like unlike Michael's, that was very much at the front the whole way through,
highly decorated.
Yeah, Ralph. Yeah.
Where did Ralph race? Because he wasn't in Ferrari, was he?
No, he started off with Jordan and had a couple of seasons there. And then Michael actually bought him out of his Jordan contract so he could go to Williams. And he was quite successful at Williams. And then someone at Toyota went, hey, Schumacher's the best driver in Formula One. Let's get Schumacher. And they fucked up and signed the wrong one.
Oh, they misheard. They're like...
Yeah. But they spent a boatload of money on Ralph. And the car, it's hard though, because like a lot of the time he had Trulli as his teammate and the car wasn't really there. And then he tried to get in at Jet Force India and they knocked him back.
Jet Force India knocked back a Schumacher.
Yeah, well, I think because he wanted to get paid and then Fissy would do it for like bugger all. So, but he was one of the, because when Malay took over, Spiker or whatever it was at the time, and made it Jet Force India, they actually did like a shootout for, I think they might have had someone like Liuzzi for some stupid reason on the books. And then they actually like had a shootout with, there was probably 5 or 6 drivers, and Ralph was one of the ones going for that shootout. And you're like, Ralph, don't. It's not your...
That's how they should pick the test drivers, Dave. Whoever's taking Seb's spot, they just have five people, super sprint series. You have like 5 different races on 5 different tracks. The winner, bang, off you go. Also, I misread that as Michael Jordan bought him out of his contract. That would have been cool.
They used to do that kind of shootout thing a lot more, but because you can't really go and test anymore, it's a lot harder to do.
Yeah. But you can't. So you can't even say, I'm not testing. I'm purely just. I'm an F1 owner, and I've got Rob, I've got Dave here, Ron Smith, and Boovy, and I need one of you. So I'm going to put you each in a car, and we're going to have a super sprint for my billionaire enjoyment. I'm going to sit up on the viewing thing with what's his name, Zach and Ginger Spice, because I reckon they'd be the 2 coolest to have. And I'd be like, these guys are going to be racing next year. Come join me. Bring Ginger Spice along and Zach's partner. I don't even know.
I don't know if Zach Brown does have a partner.
I mean, let's be honest, Dave. Even if he did, no one would care because it's not Ginger Spice. Essentially, you have to be cooler than Ginger Spice for anyone to care who your partner is. His partner would have to be.
Oh no, because there's that singer or like country singer that's Zach Brown.
Yeah.
So when I've typed in Zach Brown wife, it's that bloody country singer all over the.
Who does have a?
He has a wife. Yeah.
Oh, it's K. Z-A-K.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, don't you know this, Rob?
I don't. Tracy Brown, the name is.
This is basic Formula One. No, that's the country singer's wife, isn't it?
No.
He's at Z-A-K. Yeah, there's Zach.
Yeah. There's nothing about it on this. This must be good viewing for...
Yeah. Well, I suggested we talk about everyone's favourite new segment.
Three guys Google...
Oh, no, I was going to say 3 guys watch racing movies and then talk about it like they've paid attention.
Oh, the racing movie.
Yeah, the racing movie.
I didn't get to the end, but I've got a fair gist of what, I'm only 20 minutes out from the end, so I can pretty much predict what's going to happen.
You've missed nothing. I would like to just go on record and say that he's way better than Trading Paint. Yeah. And Trading Paint was trash.
No. It's like they actually hired actors for this movie.
Well, even the uncle who still comes off as a boring wooden man acts better than John Travolta, who clearly would have been overpaid for this.
Yes. If they gave him a beer for that performance, that was too much. Yeah. It's like, who are your fantasy people for a movie? And it's like some kid that grew up like us in the like early 90s and like, oh, I'd love to have John Turturro. He was awesome in Swordfish.
John
And,
Travolta and
you know,
Nicolas Cage.
Shania Twain was my favorite singer.
Yeah, because I can't afford Ginger Spice because she's too busy jet setting around the world.
Yeah.
At least they also made the correct call with the flags and not saying the checkered flag is up, 1 lap to go like they did in Trading Paint.
That was movie I've watched.
That was stupid.
Towards the end, was there where does she lap the whole field within like half a lap?
Yeah, and everyone got disqualified. Did you see that bit? They disqualified the.
I haven't got to that bit yet.
Because Dave, as we know, if you get lapped, you are disqualified. So basically, what she did is she put Turbo Blast mode on, lapped all these people. They all got disqualified and did a reverse Latifi where there's only him left, and then she won the big championship. And then also, Rob, you've seen it. Did you watch the mid credit secret scene? Oh, so it's just me?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ruin it for everybody. But you know when they're working on that blue car and they're like, oh, it's for someone special. And then the final scene is, oh, the car's almost finished. I'm going to hand it over to the customer now. And he's like, who is he? He goes, why, it's you. And then she takes the car and drives off. I'm not even making this up. She literally gets the car and drives off and the movie finishes. It's so
it was still, it was a bit cheesy and whatever, but it's just on another level.
Yeah,
it's so much better than Trading Paint purely because it's not great, but at least you could hear what they were saying, and the plot wasn't too ridiculous. I mean, the plot at the start seemed to be the same as Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. She gets in trouble with a car, gets sent off somewhere to work on cars. Also, that doesn't make any sense. If I got in trouble when I was younger breaking computers, I wouldn't be sent to a computer shop to play with more computers. I'd be banned from using computers. Where she smashes also that douchebag that throws the soccer ball at her when she's doing the driving test.
Yeah.
Douche move. She should have just run him over 100%. But yeah, I don't understand these movies where kids can do essentially proper crimes and then just get away with them. She smashed into a car.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty funny, but the guy threw a soccer ball at her, still passed, and then gets sent off to her uncle's house, who conveniently is a mechanic and conveniently just has the car, again, copying from Fast and the Furious #1. Oh, what's that car you've got in the shed? Oh, we don't talk about that car. That's my Charger, by the way. I'm going to talk about it a lot now. Anyway, we don't talk about the Charger. Anyway, back to the movie. We will look at that later. And then the stepdad seems to have, I don't know, 100 million grand to buy an entire new team, which he's decided his lead driver is a 16-year-old girl who only got her license 2 weeks ago.
That's what happens when you're super talented, though.
Yeah.
You just shine through.
The guy even said she's not super talented. When she did her first lap, he goes, you're expecting to be good straight away. You literally got your license yesterday. Calm down. But yeah, stupid movie, enjoyable. I managed to watch it all.
It's watchable. Like, I will watch the end of it. Whereas Trading Paint last week, if I didn't get through
that was
it
an ordeal.
This,
Rob owes a lot of explanation.
There is no chance I would like. I wouldn't even joke about saying to someone, "You should watch."
Oh no, I would.
Well,
I will
depending on
tell
who
people.
it was.
I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people. Also, unrelated, anyone that's just watching now, like E-Scooter Championship, if you haven't seen Trading Paint, I highly recommend you watch it.
It's worth watching. It's worth watching once. Get it out of the system.
You watch it once, say that you did it.
Yeah. That just makes every other car motorsport movie good.
Also, Dave, more people are still getting confused by your bread references.
No, I don't think I spelled baguettes right.
I do like the Jesus simulator. That's the best association to your bread. Next one, you know what you could have had, Dave? Bread and red wine, and it could have been like Jesus or France.
What the hell's happening?
That is proper creepy.
Yes.
So overall, though, that movie was what was the first movie we watched?
Driven.
I'm going to still say Driven's number one.
Yeah,
Lady
just
Driver
purely
number 2.
because Driven had real, like
No, I'm just going to say
real footage in
number
it.
one because it was just
I've gone
stupid.
Lady Driver number one.
I think
more than once.
I would watch Driven again, and I'm still contemplating buying the Driven video game to and Rob, if when we have people over for our special episode, I may have it ready so you can play Driven in stupid mode.
We're gonna do a live.
This is live.
with a studio audience.
Make no mistake, this isn't pre-recorded.
This and you know what else? This is not even barely scripted.
There is a script. No one looks at
it. There is actually a fair few notes this week, and we haven't really covered much.
I do have another movie for people.
Well, yeah, we're asking, what is the next movie? Rob, you are on very, very dicey ground. Just letting you know. Lady Driver got you back to zero. But Trading Paint, you lost a lot of goodwill.
This is more of just a suggestion that I think people should watch because it was quite interesting. It's called Rapid Response. It's about the safety team in IndyCar.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a documentary on how it all started and what they've done. It's really
how does one watch Rapid? Oh, it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, you got to rent it on Amazon.
No, you shouldn't have to.
You sure?
I didn't rent it.
Oh, okay.
But if you got Prime Video, it's on there.
Yeah. Don't know why I have Prime Video.
But yeah, worth watching. It was really interesting.
So we're watching Rapid Response.
We're saving the good movies to the end.
Yeah, Booby, we're not playing our good cards early. This is like a game of poker. We don't have.
We're getting through the junk first, and then you get the excitement of like a proper.
Yeah.
Movie.
And then we might even have like a Fast and the Furious marathon, which we just.
No, well, the first three.
I was going to say, do we watch the ones where they're like jet fighter pilots, or because if we're doing that, we may as well put Top Gun in there.
There's not enough alcohol in the world for me to watch them to fly to the moon again.
Well, I don't know. I might watch it again, but not as a car movie.
I think I've only seen the first three, and that was it. I tried to watch the one where they went to Mexico.
Watch the first three, and then watch the most recent one, and then you'll be like, "What the fuck did I miss in the middle here?" Because all of a sudden they're like, they're spies and they work for the government or whatever. They're like CIA operatives or something, and they fly to the moon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, how did that happen?
Tokyo Drift was probably one of the best ones they've done.
Tokyo Drift was fantastic.
Tokyo Drift probably is the best one they've done.
Yeah.
And
you reckon it's the best one?
And the first one. Maybe the second one wasn't too bad. But yeah. But the first three were fun.
Was Tokyo Drift first or second? The second or third?
Third. Tokyo. It was first, and then it was Too Fast, Too Furious. And then it was Tokyo Drift, which is technically not the third one in the timeline. It's sad that I know this too. I don't understand why I'm admitting to knowing the timeline of Fast and the Furious.
Didn't they just start going Fast 6? So you didn't have to say the rest.
And then it's No, Scooter, we're too much.
I thought after 3 years, that's when you start watching Cars.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah.
Cars is a better car movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually got that down in my list of movies for us to watch.
Cars.
How many is there?
I think there's 3.
Is there 3?
And
3?
Yeah, maybe. Do we watch Planes as well to throw in some Fast and Furious kind of vibes?
You know what Planes movie is? Planes to Cars is what Ralph Schumacher is to Michael Schumacher. You forget they had it. You know it's there, and it's not a bad one. You just completely forgotten that they made a movie about flying cars called Planes. Yeah. Same thing. Just... Oh, there's a couple of spin-offs too. We've got a lot of movies, Rob. I feel like I really have to get this projector area set up for real viewing. And then we can have watch parties. And then maybe Andrea, I knew you were a person of quality. That is one of the greatest movies ever made.
I genuinely haven't seen that.
Dave, get off. Dave, that's
can we watch
15-second penalty?
Yeah, that's a penalty. Rob, I take it you've seen BMX Bandits. Nicole Kidman's
I have, but it's been so long since I watched it. The only thing
Nicole Kidman's greatest movie.
Yeah. Them going down the water slide was burnt into my head.
Wait. Nicole Kidman's greatest movie. What about Days of... I can still hear you.
Dave, I stand by that. BMX Bandits is her best movie, above Days of Thunder.
Yeah,
come on, Days of Thunder.
Fight me, Dave.
I haven't. I have seen scenes from it with her in and things like that, but yeah, I haven't actually watched the movie. So,
yeah,
I feel like Dave needs to have a stop-go penalty for his.
We get questions like this as though we've actually got rules in this thing. Yeah. Like,
this is all made up as we go along.
What do you reckon?
I think after the 1 hour mark, it's just a free-for-all where you can just... Essentially, it's just a George Russell power hour now. You can just accuse people and read out rules about people, making up stuff.
Do you think he sat there, like, in the car and he's got, like, the rule book on the screen on the dash or something?
I genuinely think he is going to turn into a new Lewis Hamilton.
What do you reckon, Alonso? Like, that's going to push every rule to the absolute limit.
Yeah. I just don't want him to turn into Mr. Snitch like Hamilton is, where he just walks around and goes, Toto, I looked at the car and it's got a little hole here and it's got a little wing here and I don't like the... Yeah, pretty much. First hour, it's checked. Next hour.
Maybe you should just come in at the hour mark, Matt. We'll just sit out for the first hour.
Just tag us in.
No. I'm not doing it solo again. I've finally got rid of that cough.
Speaking of Jared's asking the F1 game, I tell you what I did play though recently, and I still am. I finally got my PS4 out of storage, and I purchased for $9 off Amazon with free shipping Gran Turismo Sport, which turns out is a good game now.
Is it?
Because they've done a 50 gig update, Dave, and you can play it offline, and it's got all the license tests, and it's got
okay.
Yeah. So basically, I think when it first came out, no one liked it because it was all online only. Everyone complained, and then Sony went, "Fine, you can have an update." And
it's good to go.
Yeah, now it's like a 50 gig whole new game, and it's got the what did I play last? 6, the whole license tests. So currently, I completed all the drive in a straight line test. You'll be surprised to know, Dave, I got a gold for that. I got a gold in the break after 200 meters. So, and then I won a Subaru. So I'm very proud of myself.
Well done.
So I might place it. Yeah. So that was a good value for $9. And,
to answer the actual question, though, I have, because there is a PlayStation and a steering wheel and that in this house, and I did about 8 laps around Canada that were quite unsuccessful, because that was the first time I was played a game in for fucking ever, and yeah, it was quite difficult, to be honest.
In the F1 car.
Yeah. The problem is it was very, because I did the time trial thing, and it was very very touchy on cutting corners and stuff. So my lap times kept getting deleted.
Yeah. I actually tried to do a race on iRacing with the Mercedes
constantly just hits track limits
at Canada after the Canada race, and I was going to have it as my background of me racing, but I couldn't really get a clean race at all in it.
Yeah, my problem wasn't even, because I thought like the last chicane would have been a big issue, but I think it was probably about turn 4 or so. I was having real difficulty there because I kept and I wasn't actually off track, but I'd have like one tire, kind of just over the ripple strip, and they were pulling you for track limits on that.
Oh,
so, but apparently the time.
Little George Russell voice just in your ear saying,
I
thought Dave's wheel wasn't doing the thing that he's meant to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Toto and Lewis about you. George has a very high-pitched voice, I've decided, like quite, because he also looks like a 12-year-old child.
And he does sound like a bit like a little kid, kind of, that's got that little bit of information.
Yeah, you know those people that like you watching a sport event and like, do your parents know you're out on a school night doing, racing an F1 car? It's school night tonight. You got to wake up early tomorrow. Oh, Lewis, I saw this, and Max had a car and the tire was a bit wet, and I'll tell him off. I just hope he doesn't turn into like Lewis's little, whinging gopher second driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want him to, I think he would be, it's not going to happen. He would be great at, say, McLaren. If Dan did go, him and Lance could just be good and fun together.
Lando.
The Lando and Russell show. And then Dan goes to, I don't know.
I think I'd prefer to see someone like Albon in at McLaren, like a Lando and Albon or something like that would be more fun, I reckon, than George being in there.
George and Yuki would be pretty funny because George seems very serious, and Yuki just seems to be like, I'm just here just to race around. I don't really care. Ooh, you got a fan.
Yeah.
I mean,
a light fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to have some nice lights.
Yeah.
Piece of cables up underneath me.
It's a very you kind of color as well.
I genuinely thought it was like you had a lightsaber in the background for a while.
I do.
It does. Yeah. Just needed to be the right kind of color.
We can do different colors.
Ooh.
My car used to have
the future is here.
Whoa. People could suggest what color you want. Like people just type in a color and you should change it to that.
Yeah.
And I can do, we've got lots of, the other one does different colors.
Or green. Someone said green.
Green.
I don't know who Supercar Talk is, but they want you to do it green.
Do this
once again, this is amazing viewing.
Once, look, now you got to go red. Quick.
Hey, that green really kind of matched the
wait a minute.
green of the Supercars Talk color.
Booby's got a question. Who is the current tallest driver?
George, I would have thought.
I'd say George, Dan, and Yuki's going to be like 4 foot nothing.
Dan's short.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Yuki's probably the shortest.
Latifi's pretty tall, isn't he?
Yeah, Latifi seems like it. The 2 Canadians are probably quite tall.
I don't think Lance is he?
You reckon? I reckon Lance is like goofy tall.
We'd like a list.
Yeah, everyone needs to remember what colors Rob used for the quiz next week. Yeah, I'm gonna say George the tallest, Yuki the shortest, Latifi's probably the second. King Latifi, correct?
Do we actually research this during the week and go through it properly next week?
No,
F1 YouTube actually had a thing where all the drivers had to guess who was the tallest.
Who else we got?
I'm just looking through the list of drivers, and Ocon's pretty tall.
Ocon's tall.
Oh, I didn't realize he was still racing until the other day, and someone mentioned his name. He has done nothing.
It's really funny though, because he just goes like you don't even know he's in the race. No. And I was listening to another podcast. Apparently, there's other people who talk about F1, and they do a 60-second race review, and they basically leave Ocon out every race because nothing happens.
Yeah.
So there's no.
Yeah, I heard him. I might have been listening to another podcast as well. They mentioned him. I'm like, oh, I forgot he was there. I thought they were just a one-car team there. Because you only hear about Alonso.
So Yuki is the shortest driver. Is that? Yeah. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually.
So Albon's the equal tallest.
Yeah. I can almost see that
Albon was that tall. Like,
I mean, you never see him though, Dave. So you can't really tell. He's never on a podium.
He's always sitting down.
Yeah, because he's never on a podium. He's never anywhere.
He's always sitting down.
More important question, Boovy. How tall is Angela? I want to.
Is she taller than Yuki?
Is she taller than Yuki?
Google how tall is Angela.
Also, next question, Boovy. Before we go. Who's taller, Toto or Mr. Ginger Spice? I feel like Toto's taller.
Yeah, I think Toto's pretty tall.
Toto's like 6 foot, isn't he?
I think so.
Tallest driver, 194.
Yeah,
Toto's 196.
Justin Wilson was a 196. Toto.
Yeah, Toto's a big.
He's a big
boy. He's got to be big to fit into that Darth Vader outfit for cosplay. Oh, Jensen was pretty tall. Yeah. He was pretty tall and goofy, wasn't he?
I don't think he was spectacularly tall.
Here we go. It's the first question. He was 6 foot.
Who? Jensen. So what's that? 180.
182.
It's almost as tall as me. Almost as tall as Matt.
Yeah. Now,
let's not.
Not like Dave, who's 5 foot 3.
He's a Tinder 6 foot.
Yeah.
What hat is it this week, Dave, that you've forgotten to wear?
Well, the problem is I've run out of hats, so
I'm
onto recycling them.
I can't afford
one or two more hats left.
Yeah. You know what? I
didn't even realize I had this hat.
I had to go and buy a battery, and I went into Repco, and I saw hats in Repco, and I went, "Oh, I'll have a look at them on the way out once I've got the battery." But they didn't have the battery that I needed, so I ended up at Super Cheap. But that's it.
But did you look at the hats?
He's got a kid in there. No, I forgot about the hats because I was so pissed off that they didn't have a battery. So then I remembered a couple of days later. So I jumped on Repco's website, and I'm like, awesome. I found some hats for $1.60 on the website. And I went to order them, but you can't, they won't post anything. So you can't order them. But they will not tell you what store has them. So I basically went through, like I did the map of Victoria or whatever, and basically searched every store to see if they had one of these $1.60 hats. I was only searching on one of them because it was obviously quite time consuming. But if anybody out there happens to go to the Repco that sees the $1.60 hats, because I'm willing to drive, probably within Victoria, like spend $100 worth of fuel to get myself a $1.60 hat. Is that the child making all the noise?
Yes. like to say something.
I didn't know you were allowed to.
Yeah, is this show and tell day?
Yeah, I didn't know it was show and tell day. I left
after an hour 30. It becomes show and tell.
Yeah, there's all these. Now I've decided to look up hats.
Backseat drivers after dark.
Yeah, I went to buy a hat. I went to buy a McLaren Arrows hat. It was like 35. Yeah, the SP. It was like 35 US or something, and then 45 US shipping.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that like a base shipping though? And then like if you ordered like 10 items, it was still.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't get that far.
Because maybe we could do a bulk order.
Yes.
True. It's through the IMS Indy Motorsports. All right, we'll work that out. So I bought one hat from America a few years ago, and it cost me. I think it ended up costing me $140 in the end by the time I bought it and got it here.
$140 for a hat. I think this hat cost me nothing. I think this came in a
with a PlayStation.
No, I think it came in a box of PlayStation stuff.
I was on holidays when it arrived, and my housemate's dog ripped the box open and chewed the hat. So I had to buy a big one that he paid for.
Oh well, that's But I remember, I think I might have been like one of the Red Bull shirts or something that I wanted, and it was essentially like the postage was off its head. But then because I ordered quite a few other things with it then, and the postage didn't go up. So it ended up being a small amount of postage for each item, but I had to spend like $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, we'll work out some hat.
Oh, here we go.
What?
At the border. It'll only cost fucking $800 worth of fuel.
I'll drive, Dave. It'll cost you less. Good old Mazda.
Here we go. I fucking drove through Eltham today as well.
Whoa, Boovy, I think you've got a mission tomorrow.
Eltham? I'm near Eltham.
Knowing the way I travel around for work, I'm probably be through there tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Because I basically went through there yesterday and today. So, yeah.
Oh, you probably do need to go there tomorrow, Dave.
Well,
I heard you need to go there. It sounds like a.
We might have to. We'll see.
Oh, you can. Oh yeah, Shell V hat, Repco hat, a beanie. The beanies count. Can I wear a beanie next week?
Well,
beanie. Yeah,
it's headwear.
Yeah.
So
just headwear. All right. Ooh.
Well, the funny thing was, I actually for the battery, because long story short, my wife's car was going in for a service on Friday. Thursday night, the battery dies in the car. How good's the timing with that? So the options were either get the car towed to Nissan or go and buy a battery on Thursday night. So I went to Repco because that was on the right side of the road for me. It was more convenient, where I had to do the U-turn to go to Super Cheap Auto. So I was really
hard, Dave.
It was really
hard in the car.
Well, it was because it was last Thursday night, and I wanted to then get back to do this because I was running out of time because I was already stuck at work late, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, this will save me time. And then I go into Repco and they didn't have a battery. So then I had to get in the car and go to Super Cheap and do the U-turn and whatever, which was 2 U-turns. But in the end, RACV had come out and jump-started the car. So she drove it. So I got to meet her at home and it all worked out okay in the end. But I was pretty pissed off as I was walking out of Repco without a battery.
Oh, no football hats. Okay, that rules out one of my hats.
Yeah. No football, anything on.
Well, that's clearly a rule now. So you can't wear a beanie because you get a 10-second time penalty. I was
going to start wearing beanies as well.
I don't even know what's in here. I've got other hats. No, that's a football hat. What if I wear the Big Freeze beanie hat? See that there's the big freeze hat. Can I change hats halfway through?
Yeah.
I think the big freeze counts as a football hat, doesn't it?
Does it?
Well, let's see what the 10-second penalty.
Yeah. Done.
What the hell is that hat?
7 or something? I think it's a motocross brand. I bought it
Close
online. I bought it online. It turned up. And I'm like, I don't like this hat. Sitting here.
And now it's coming useful.
Yeah. More.
I think we can allow Matt back in.
I got rid of my offending hat. I apologise to everybody for my.
Thank you.
I've let down the team. Yeah, what's the latest one? Number 7. See, Jared said it's fine.
Yeah, but then e-scooter championship said 10-second penalty for Matt. So,
can I send an email to Hat Control? Like, who's Hat Control?
Yeah, you can email the stewards and ask for a review of your penalty.
What if I quote the rule book while in a race, just from my little rule book in the side of the car? All right, so that hat's not allowed. I'm gonna have to do a review of my hat. Yeah, dear Toto. Oh yeah, see, e-scooters are.
The ruler of all the hats.
Yeah, that's
definitely not the beanie simulator though.
Yeah, that's true. We need a beanie simulator who can overrule.
There we go. I don't know.
All right, so I'm gonna find more hats.
Have we covered everything for the week?
I mean, probably not.
We not even close, but
we had a winner of the week and a loser of the week. I think
loser of the week's obviously Ferrari, because
loser of the week's Matt's hat.
What?
Oh, his beanie.
The beanie.
Beanie.
Yeah.
Fine, and the winner is my hat because I'm the only one wearing a hat today, and I listened. Because
I
had a hat.
I'm going to go a little bit different. Oh God.
It's the bread.
I'm trying to be serious here, and
I'm never serious.
Yeah.
Who's your winner of the week, Dave?
Well, I was going to start off with the loser of the week.
Okay, who's your loser of the week?
Finish on a positive, mainly because I thought of the loser of the week first.
Okay.
Well, because Ferrari's, the easy one kind of thing. I'm going to Connor Daly, purely because so much high hopes after qualifying, and then he just sunk like a fucking brick during the race. There were just nowhere. They obviously set the car up for qualifying. That was it. So it was just a big disappointment. Yeah. Winner of the week, Max.
Whoever gets Seb's spot next year.
I don't know if that's a great seat though.
You reckon?
Nah.
What if you were like 21 and they came up to you and said, "Hey, Dave,
it's funny though. That's probably going to be the best seat available for next year, though.
Well, there's probably not going to be unless Hamilton decides to do a shock. Retirement if he doesn't win this year, which he's not going to.
Maybe Lance's sister will take the seat.
Lance has no, because she's too busy being married to.
She needs the super license points.
She also needs super license points.
Actually, did the lineup of the concerts or whatever at the Iowa race? Rob, did you know any of these artists? I think there was Gwen Stefani.
I think she was anyone I knew.
The other three, though. So it's not only me who had no fucking idea who they were.
Who were they?
Who says I'm not 21?
Okay, Dave's not he's a day over 23.
Don't look at the grey hair starting to come through.
Tim McGraw. No. Well, Tim McGraw was a country guy.
Oh, here we go. Tim McGraw. No, Blake Shelton. He's from a TV show, and I think he's married to Gwen Stefani or one of them.
Blake Shelton is
because Gwen Stefani was there.
He's a country music singer.
Yeah, he's
Tim
on the
McGraw.
Voice or the spin around thing, and he's
Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw is a country singer.
They're all country singers, aren't they?
Florida Georgia Line, I'm guessing, is a country band. Yeah, so they're all country. Yeah,
They're all
Florida
Georgia Line. Is that the name of the band? Or
yeah,
is that just
that's the name of the band.
Dave, just quickly, how hard would it be to get a super license if you were, say, 20? You'd have to basically start when you were young, wouldn't you? Because you have to work.
Essentially, if you look through, like Lance Stroll's probably the checkbook way of doing it. And they still started young. You can't just buy your way through. You have to have a certain amount of talent.
Do you reckon Oscar might end up in that seat?
Ooh,
that could be why the announcement's not happening at Williams.
Yeah,
because
I know he's kind of holding
I think
out.
I'm going to Roxburgh Park, but yeah. Renault has to put him somewhere.
Yeah. So that could be an option.
Yeah, I think that's possibly at the moment, it's a better option than Williams.
Yeah, I think so.
Plus,
and he gets a nice daily driver.
What do you? His Alpine A110 or whatever is not a great daily driver.
Yeah, they're not a bad looking car.
That is a pretty cool car.
That wasn't going where I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, I actually quite like it. I keep forgetting that they're not driving Renault Clios
as a Formula One driver, though, when you look at what's available at the other teams, would that be your first choice, though?
Depends.
But could you get anywhere else at the time? Like if I'm a 21-year-old kid, I just got a super license, and they said, "Hey Matt, we've got a seat for you." But if you're going there and saying like, "Yeah, I get an Alpine as a company car," like I wouldn't be cared about that. I'd be cared.
You would blow your load if you went to McLaren, say.
Oh, of course you would.
Yeah.
McLaren just released their new fancy ass supercar that's like 10 years out of date.
Rabbit chocolate stout, because I am an adult who still likes chocolate. Essentially, this is an alcoholic milkshake, because I am, as I've been told by people in this house, I am a giant man-child. And my drinks of choice are chocolate.
I don't see any issue with that.
No, and coffee. That's essentially alcohol at night, coffee during the day, and power through.
You know what's really good? Mr. Black, because it combines alcohol and coffee.
I just get the cold brew that I make because obviously I'm
best
a dirty
of both worlds.
I started drinking espresso martinis during lockdown for morning tea.
Rob, when we do the special live show, I may have a espresso martini keg kit in which I can make you espresso.
This is going to go off the rails in about 21 minutes, I reckon.
Yeah.
21. Dave, if you rock up late to the live screen showing of this, Rob and I are just going to be on the carpet and you're going to have to take over the show.
We're going solo again tonight.
Yeah. I think we've done quite well.
So we've obviously covered off everything.
We've covered everything, exposed people to alcohol, got some stop-go penalties for everything.
Yeah. Thanks
Look,
to everyone for watching and the comments.
I'm going to say, I was going to say it earlier, though, big call, best episode ever. Yes.
I think this
quality and quantity. I think on both accounts, we have done very well.
You can have one or the other. And on here, you are definitely not going to get quality. So we've got to make up for it in quantity.
We are just going to keep talking until one of us gets tired.
Yes.
And it's not going to be Matt.
No. Matt's already had 4 coffees today. He's not stopping for another 3 hours.
I think your viewers are already going.
Yeah.
They're trying to wind it up.
Good night, all.
I think they're playing the wind-up music where he accepted the award. It's time to go.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, everyone.
See you all.